Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. Here's my steering wheel position sensor. This is a dealer part there, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so first you need to make sure your wheels are firmly on the ground. They're straight. The steering wheel needs to be straight. Now you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I got no way to lock this steering wheel, so I put some of this clear tape around to keep it locked in, and of course I'll get this taken care of, but that's all I can do. So the first step, what you need to do, there's going to be two plastic covers, one here and one underneath. Also the OBD2 connector is going to be connected to the bottom part of the bottom cover. Pretty straightforward. You're going to have one bolt here. There's going to be like a little plastic cover here. We got a bolt here, one bolt here, a couple at the bottom, so nothing really to it. Just take those off. And so the next step, it's going to be to get down to a steering shaft. And let's see now. So right in here, the first step will be to take this 14mm bolt, this guy here, take that off. I marked my shaft, steering shaft, so once I remove this bolt I should be able to pull this out, and my steering position sensor is actually on this side. So I'm gonna get this off first, and then we'll remove just gonna pull this out, this steering shaft out. And I'm hoping that I don't have to take my steering wheel and everything, the steering column completely out. I'm hoping I can just get from here and get to my sensor. So it's just pretty much 14mm bolt, and when you take this bolt out, you'll have to make sure to put it back in the same direction as it goes. So if you want, just take maybe a picture of something, just to snap the picture before you take it off, so you know which, to put it back in the same way it was before. So, okay, got this bolt out. It's actually never 15mm. I'm sorry, I said 14. It's a 15. So just unscrew this nut, pulled it out. It's not hard. I mean, it shouldn't be any problems to pull this out of the steering column. Put this on the side. So next will be to try to disconnect the steering shaft from right there. So you can see, should be able to just pull this out enough to just light sucks. Okay, let's see now. Okay, that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I'm just going to leave it as it is right now. I'm hoping just to get the minimally invasive procedure. Okay, so the next step is to remove this retaining plate here. Oh god, I can't see it. Okay, this plate here, right there. So there's going to be 125T torque screw here, right there. One here. So we're going to remove this retaining plate. One here and one here. It's probably going to be a little tricky to get to it, especially here when you have a brake pedal. You might have someone to push this pedal down to get this to get this little screw. Here's the connector from your steering position sensor right there. And alright, I'm gonna get this out. So again, this screw here, and then this one here. Okay, and then we'll see what we have to do next. Okay, this is out. It wasn't that hard at all. I mean, just get your T25 socket, and once you get these loose, this retaining plate will just come off, and it's not hard at all. So we're pretty much at the sensor already, and I'm hoping if I can wiggle it out that we can Here's my that's my sensor right on the shaft. So if I wiggle it, hopefully it will come off. All right, got it. Sweet. Okay, so here's my connector. Okay, all right. Voila. All right, so now you need to take this sensor out and compare it to make sure it's the same. I didn't want to take it out of the bag because I wasn't sure if I can complete this job or not. And my pins are fine, I don't see anything wrong in my pins. Okay, there, as far as I know, there's like a different you gotta make sure, you know, this slot here has to be identical to this one. It seems like we are good. And I got this, I matched this with my VIN number at the dealership. So now once we place the sensor, then we're gonna pull this spring out, and that's gonna unlock the sensor. So far I cannot touch anything, and you know, once I completely, you know, seated my sensor in, then I'll pull this out, and that should be pretty much it. And this actually just sits right there. So okay, I'm gonna slowly put this back together. You guys did see what I've done. Just basically just pull it out. I'm gonna slide back in, and hopefully I'm gonna go connect it first with to my connector, and then you know, put my sensor back in. Okay guys, sorry I couldn't have filmed this, but you just needed two hands. So just you know, slowly position your sensor over the shaft, and it's gonna be a little tough. It's a really snug fit. So just kind of course you're gonna connect it to your connect your connector first, okay? And then you just slide your sensor in, just kind of wiggle it. I mean, again, I have never done this before, but it's not that hard. I mean, it might freak you out a little bit because I was a little worried when I would start pushing it wouldn't go in. Just to make sure it's nice and flush with your steering column, and just get two hands and start pushing it in, because it has like a springs in it and they're pretty tight. So again, so just push that in, that'll be fine. And now up here is that retaining spring, the spring, and I'm going to take it out, unlock the sensor. Oh, it's just fell out. So here's my little key. So once you put your sensor in, unlock it, and you're pretty much done. So I'm just going to reverse my procedure. I'm going to put the plate first, put those two screws, get my shaft back into place, and it's not that bad at all. I mean, I was really worried how it's going to go, but it's not that much of a hassle at all. Okay. Okay guys, I'm done. I'm not sure if it's needed to do this. I think it still is, because once you disconnect your steering column, steering shaft, you know, your steering wheel is going to be kind of loose, and of course you don't want to damage your clock spring. So again, this is what I done. I got no other way of locking my steering wheel. So but you have to make sure that your steering wheel is straight. So you don't want to get steering wheel angled, because it's going to mess up your sensor. You know, put your shaft back into place, and your bolt. This right in here, this guy was a little bit in the way to get that T25 screw out. Just kind of push it to the side. You should have enough room. And on this side, with a brake pedal, it really wasn't that. You know, it was okay actually. Didn't have any problems to get to this screw T25 here. Where am I? right there. Yeah, this one. So it's kind of hard to see, but this pedal, it didn't really bother me much at all. So it's not really that hot at all, honestly. So just make sure it's marked. I mean, all you gotta do is just, once you disconnect your shaft, you're just gonna push it down, and you're not gonna lose any alignment or anything like that. So you're just gonna, put it in the same place, of course. And it's kind of, it's slotted, so you really can't mess it up. So I mean, it's impossible to, because your wheels will not turn, your shaft will not turn, and your steering wheel is secure. So that's it. Okay, guys. I mean, so I'm sorry about the camera work. It's just really hard to get to it. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up and get my graphing multimeter again and check our signal, and hopefully get this fixed. Cross fingers. All right, I'll be back.